We welcome you to Govardhan Eco Village. We are sorry for any discomfort or inconvenience, but that's the way it's supposed to be. Throughout our Vedic history and Vaishnav history, people, sadhus, swamis, babas, brahmacharis, and grihastas as well, would go to holy places for pilgrimage, especially to associate with devotees and absorb their consciousness completely in hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, in offering prayers and seva. And traditionally, holy places were always places of physical discomfort. In modern times, they're building hotels and all of that. But before our generation and the generation before, holy places were always very simple. To accept some hardships for a higher purpose is the very purpose of the human form of life. At the beginning of creation, Lord Brahma found himself in the whirl of a lotus flower, and he saw nothing but darkness all around. That lotus flower had sprouted from the navel of Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. Brahma, being the first jiva, the first living being created within our universe, really didn't know who he was, where he was, or what he was supposed to do. So he became a seeker, trying to seek out truth. Krishna explains in Gita, Yajgyatva na punaramoham evam yashashi pandava yena bhutanya sheshani draksasyatmanyato mai. When you thus know the truth, you will understand that all living beings are in me and are mine. That is truth. To understand our relationship to Krishna and every living being's relationship to Krishna, and all nature, all animate and inanimate existence, to understand how it is all coming from Krishna and how it is all meant for the loving service of Krishna. That is truth. So Brahma was seeking, who am I? Where am I? And he climbed down and he saw this vast ocean with massive waves. So he climbed back to the top of the lotus flower and meditated. And there he heard the two syllables tapa, that he should perform tapasya and everything would be revealed to him. And he became the original spiritual master and father of our universe. So life is some situations that are within our control, but almost everything is beyond our control. by the power of time, everything is changing. We pass through health and disease, youth, old age, death, rebirth, and the whole process again and again. Some of you look hot, but that's beyond our control. But there's something within our control. We can be grateful for the opportunity and grow spiritually, or we can suffer. Even in suffering, there can be happiness if we understand that there's a purpose behind it. So with those words, please happily suffer in the heat today. We are celebrating Govardhan Puja. So I would like to say something about Govardhan Eco Village. Srila Prabhupada, our beloved founder Acharya, and our most worshipable previous Acharyas in our parampara have taught us the very essence of all the Vedas. Prema Pumartha Mahan. This was Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's essential teaching. That the highest goal of life is to love Krishna. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Sravanadi Sudichiti Koriye Udai. Love for Krishna is our nature. It's the essence of who we are. It's the Jaiva Dharma. It's the natural function of the eternal soul to love Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained to Sanatana Goswami, Jivira Swarupoi Krishnera Nityadas, that we are all eternally servants of Krishna. Because that's the nature of love, to serve. Savai pung sang poro dharmo yatho bhakti radhokshajaya hoitikiya pratihata yayatma suprasiddha. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, this is the only dharma we are truly concerned with. The supreme dharma, which is that which awakens loving service to the Supreme from within us. Loving service that is unmotivated by selfishness, by egoism. Unmotivated and uninterrupted by any situation. This material world dualities are everywhere. The entire creation is built on the principle of the three modes of nature and the dualities that are created by them. Heat and cold. To be physically comfortable and satisfied requires a very delicate balance, which is quite rare. If there's too much heat or too much cold, and how cold it could get, and how hot it could get. But we're only comfortable when it's somewhere right in the middle. Matra sparashastu konteya sitos nasuka dukada. Agamapayano nityas tamstatiksha bharat. The Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells that the non-permanent appearance of these dualities, happiness, distress, honor, dishonor, success, failure, pleasure, pain, victory, defeat, health, disease, birth, death, They are coming like the winter and summer seasons. We cannot stop the coming of seasons, nor can we stop these dualities from coming in our lives, whoever we are. But Krishna says one who learns to tolerate, they're coming like the winter, summer seasons, but one who learns to titiksha, tolerate them without being disturbed. That is true intelligence. In that toleration there is real happiness. And what does tolerance mean? In this sense, Srila Prabhupada explained, it means we carry on with our service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in whatever situation may be. Whether I'm comfortable or not comfortable, whether I'm happy or in distress. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. My real standard of purpose in life is that I please Krishna. And when is Krishna pleased? Krishna's bhava grahi janardana. He's only pleased with the love of his devotee. Nothing else pleases Krishna. Patram pushpam palam toyam yome bhakta prayachjati. Whether we offer him billions of dollars, trillions of rupees in wealth, or offer him a simple flower or fruit, or a leaf or water. If we offer the best we can with love, devotion, Krishna's pleased. That is bhakti. So the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement, Srila Prabhupada explains, is to give people the opportunity to associate with devotees and to become absorbed in Krishna. In one beautiful lecture, Srila Prabhupada explains that whatever we know, whatever we have, whatever we do, our purpose is to become attracted to Krishna, to become attached to Krishna. And as we discussed yesterday in Krishna's Damodar Leela, in order to become attached to Krishna, two things are required. The sincere, earnest, determined effort of a devotee. Krishna has given us formula. It's coming through our Guru Parampara. To take shelter of the holy names, to chant the holy names according to our vows, to live according to these regulative principles of morality and integrity, to love the association of devotees, to be in a mood of the servant of the servant of the servant. Do not criticize, but look for the good and appreciate others. Rupa Goswami explains 64 items of devotional service. Of them, 5 are very prominent: to associate with devotees. Association of devotees is not just a matter of being physically in the proximity. It means in machchita madkata prana bodhiyanta parasparam katiyantaschamam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. It means to inspire and enlighten one another with Krishna. by chanting together, by speaking together, by hearing together, by serving together. That is association of devotees, where we really care about each other, physically, emotionally, and especially spiritually. To worship the deities, to become absorbed in hearing and chanting and reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, chanting the holy names of the Lord in japa and kirtan and bhajan, and visiting holy places. These are the 5 most prominent items of devotional service. They're all for the purpose, Srila Prabhupada explains, of becoming attached to Krishna. But however we try, Krishna's beyond our reach. Srila Prabhupada emphasized in our practice of Krishna conscious principles, we must be sincere. Srila Prabhupada writes that Krishna gives himself when there is pure devotional service. Pure devotional service is very rare. But if we are sincere and serious and do not have ulterior motives, Krishna gives us pure devotional service. And when he gives us that, he gives us himself. So ultimately, every bit of our advancement is only based on Krishna's mercy. And Krishna's mercy comes, yegatamam prapadyante tams tataiva bhajamyam, according to how we please him. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught how to please Krishna. Gopi bharatur padakamalayora dasa 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 anudas. In our execution of all these great principles of bhakti, especially hearing and chanting, it is required that we're in the mood of the servant of the servant of the servant to please Krishna. And then we become absorbed. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu especially came to this world, Swarup Damodar Goswami explains, to reveal Vrindavan, the highest of all the holy places in the spiritual world. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, it tells by Kaviraj Goswami the mind of Krishna, that everyone is worshipping me through various religious systems as the Supreme Almighty God. And they approach the Lord with great reverence. But what pleases him most is the spontaneous love of the Brajavasis, where the love of the devotees is so great that Krishna puts aside his role as the supreme, ultimate creator, maintainer, destroyer of everything in the material worlds and the ultimate object of worship in the spiritual worlds, to intimately reciprocate as a friend, as a child, or as a lover. That is Vrindavan. And once in a day of Brahma, Krishna descends to reveal his Vrindavan pastimes. And the Gokul Vrindavan, which is in this world, just southeast of New Delhi, is non-different than the Goloka Vrindavan, the highest planet in the spiritual world, beyond birth, beyond death, beyond time, beyond Vaikuntha, far beyond the Brahma Jyoti. That Goloka Vrindavan comes to this world where Srimati Radharani, Shri Govinda Dev, and their eternal associates perform their pastimes. But our acharyas teach us that Vrindavan has its geographical place within this world. Essentially, it's a state of consciousness. It's that state of consciousness of being absorbed in Krishna. There's a beautiful verse that tells us that Krishna never takes a step out of Vrindavan. Tatra tishtami narada yatra gayanti madbhakta. Krishna also says that wherever my devotees are together chanting my names, I am there. Krishna's Vrindavan pastimes, by hearing them, by reading them, by speaking them, are absolute. They are non-different than Vrindavan. So when we are absorbed, to the degree we're really absorbed in a devotional spirit, in the service of Vrindavan, in the pastimes of Vrindavan, and chanting the holy names of the lords of Vrindavan, we are there. Srila Prabhupada explained that there's no record that Swarup Damodar Goswami, who's Lalita Saki in Krishna's Leela, there's no record of Gadadhar Pandit or many others of the most intimate eternal associates of the Lord in Lord Chaitanya's Leela, that they ever physically went to Vrindavan. But they were truly never outside of Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada left the Radha Damodar temple in the heart of Sevakunj to give Vrindavan to the whole world. And we find Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, when they were living as the ministers of the Nawabhussayan Shah in Bengal, they excavated a little Vrindavan forest near their palaces, where there was a Kadambakan, there was Radha Kund, Shama Kund. And by going to those places, they were absorbed in remembering Krishna. They were absorbed in the holy Dham. And in that absorption, they were there. The concept of viraha, or separation, is the basis of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. He was living in Jagannath Puri, but when he saw a sand dune, he was seeing Govardhan. When he saw the sea, he was seeing the river Yamuna. He was seeing the forests of Vrindavan. He was absorbed. And he's teaching that when we feel separation from Krishna, his leelas, his devotees, that separation is where the deepest unity is experienced. King Virambir also created a Vrindavan forest in his kingdom under the direction of Srinivasacharya. this little Vrindavan forest that we've created under the inspiration, and we believe it's the sincere wish of Srila Prabhupada that these types of places are there in this world. They're not, they cannot replace Vrindavan, but these various holy places, when we come there and we feel the experience of Vrindavan, we feel deeper and deeper and deeper separation from the original place. It's a place to cultivate separation from Vrindavan. And in that separation, we actually are in Vrindavan. Viraha bhava. Love and separation is where the most wonderful connection with Krishna will be, wherever we are in the world. Devotees have worked so hard with so much dedication to try to represent this feeling of Vrindavan here in rural Maharashtra. What better place is there to chant the Maha Mantra than Maharashtra? For us at least. Today we are sitting just at the lotus feet of Sri Giriraj, Govardhan Hill, to celebrate the day of Govardhan Puja. So I know that you're hot and you may be hungry, so I'll be brief, but only Krishna knows how brief. In the Garga Samhita, there is a description of the birth of Govardhan Hill in Goloka Vrindavan. One day, as Srimati Radharani and Shri Krishna were sitting in the heart of the place of the Rasa Lila in Goloka, the spiritual world, and they had just performed their most sweet, confidential pastimes, where Sri Radha conquers Krishna with her prema, her intimate, pure love, which is the source of all love in all existence. Whatever love exists in all spiritual and material worlds has its origin in the heart of Sri Radha, the Hladini Shakti of Lord Krishna. Srila Prabhupada gives us a little glimpse. Chaitanya Charitamrita tells the gopis their only desire is Krishna's pleasure. There can never be in their hearts even the slightest trace of a tinge of desire for anything except giving pleasure to Krishna. And because it is so pure and so deep and so sweet, that love conquers Krishna. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna tells the gopis, headed by Sri Radha, that your love for me is so much that I cannot repay you. Even with everything that I have in an entire lifetime of Brahma, I cannot repay you. What does Krishna have? He's Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He's the proprietor of everything that exists. All material and spiritual worlds are Krishna's property. All living beings are Krishna's property. Aham bija pratapita. And he's feeling like this. That for each and every one of the gopis, I have no power to repay you. Therefore I request, let your love for me compensate. So Sri Radha, she tells Krishna in a secluded place that if you are pleased with my love, and if you are pleased with our Rasa Leela, then fulfill one desire that I have. Krishna said, I'm only living to fulfill your desires. If I haven't already fulfilled all your desires, tell me whatever your wish is, and I will certainly fulfill it. And she said, here, in the heart of our Rasa Mandala, please create a place where we can enjoy the most pleasurable, transcendently confidential pastimes, like no other place. Krishna said, so be it. And he closed his eyes and meditated. And with his lotus eyes, he searched within his own heart. And from the very core of Krishna's heart, Krishna meditated on his love. And that love came out from his heart and out from his chest in the form of a seed that appeared to be water and fire. And that seed of water and fire, as it sprouted from his heart, it fell into the heart of the Rasa Leela's arena and began to grow into a mountain. It's the personification of the most intimate, confidential, innermost love of Krishna's heart. It expanded because Krishna's love is infinite and it's ever expanding. It began as a little stone and became more stones and a mountain. In Goloka Vrindavan it's described, because Goloka Vrindavan, it's beyond any limitations. This mountain was expanding so much, it was so beautiful. Finally, it would have expanded to cover everything that exists. That's Krishna's love. Krishna had to tell the mountain, stop expanding. And then Krishna showed to Sri Radha, and she was watching. And they went to explore that mountain. Those beautiful caves with jewels, waterfalls, the most auspicious divine trees, and birds singing of all varieties. All the water was nectar. It's Chintamani. It became the most favored of all places for Sri Radha Govinda to perform their Leela in Goloka. And the name of that mountain is Govardhan. At the end of the Dwapara Yuga, once in a day of Brahma, Krishna promises Brahma and Shiva and the Devatas that he'll descend to the world. The Garga Samhita tells that Srimati Radharani tells Krishna that if you descend to this world without me, then I will not be able to live. Krishna, he said, how will I ever go anywhere without you? He said, you must come with, you will come with me. We will descend together. Srimati Radharani replied that I will not be happy without the Vrindavan forest, the river Yamuna, and the hill Govardhan. These are ever existing as the favorite places of seva for Sri Radharani to Sri Krishna in Goloka Vrindavan in this spiritual world. Lord Sri Krishna smiled and said, I will send them ahead of us. And Yamuna Devi came from Yamunotri. She descended from Goloka Vrindavan to be the river Yamuna. The Vrindavan forests of Goloka descended within Braj Mandala. And Govardhan took birth as the son of Dronachala, west of Bharatvarsha. I believe the area is called Salmali. And there, because Govardhan is the personification, the manifestation of the innermost love of Krishna for Sri Radha, from Goloka, when it came down to the material world, all the mountains and all the sages and everyone declared that Govardhan is Giriraj. He is the king of all mountains, the most loved by Krishna. Pulastya Muni was once traveling in that area and he saw Govardhan. So pleasing, so beautiful. And he went to Govardhan's father and said, I'm living in Kashi, Varanasi, but there's no nice mountain there for me to do bhajan. There's the Ganga, and it's a really holy place. And anyone who dies there gets liberated. And Kashi Vishwanath is there, the most intimate, loving devotee, Lord Shiva. But there's no nice mountain for me to do my bhajan. Sadhus often ask for some bakshish. He says, the only thing I ask is give me your son, Govardhan. He started to cry. Fathers don't like to give their sons away. It's almost like they go to the brahmachari ashram. Something like that. So ultimately, whatever Govardhan wanted, his father said is fine. Govardhan told Pulastya said, I will go with you and I will make myself, but please tell me how are you going to take me to Kashi? Because Govardhan was really big. He was gigantic. It's a mountain. Pulasya Muni said, by my yogic powers, I will lift you with my right hand. Said, I'll go with you under one condition, that wherever you put me down, I stay there permanently, and I will not move. Pulasya said, very nice, and he agreed. And he lifted Giriraj. And as they were going over the air, Giriraj looked down and saw Braj Bhumi, Sri Vrindavan town. He saw the forest of Vrindavan. He saw the river Yamuna. Govardhan was thinking of his eternal pastimes in Goloka Vrindavan with Sri Krishna, Sri Radha, the Gopas and Gopis. He desired to be there. So suddenly he became very, very heavy. There's different versions of the story. One version of the story is he became really heavy, and Pulasya Muni just lost his intelligence and exhaustion and put him down to rest, and he wouldn't get up. Another version is his bladder became heavy. And he had to respond to nature. And being a Brahmin, he had to put Govardhan down before he did that. But Sri Giriraj would not move. And as much as he tried to lift him, he would not move. And Govardhan said, I already took a vow that anywhere you put me, I will not leave. So Pulasya, by Krishna's arrangement, by the Yogamaya potency, because Giriraj was so big, he was coming from another world, beyond Bharatvarsha. Pulasya Muni said, every day I curse you, you will reduce in size the size of one sesame seed. And that was long ago. So by the time Krishna and Balaram came to live in Braj Bhumi, Govardhan was just the perfect size. The gopis in Srimad Bhagavatam, they declare Govardhan to be Haridas Bharya. He's Krishna himself, but he's also the best of all devotees of Krishna, because he gives the most pleasure to Krishna. In the mood of the servant, he not only gives pleasure to Krishna and Balaram and Srimati Radharani, but to all the gopas and all the gopis and all the cows and the goats and the buffaloes and everybody. Govardhan is Krishna himself. The grass that grows on Govardhan, it's very soft. So when the cows chew on it, it feels so soft and nice in their mouth. How detailed is Giriraj in his service? My dear god sisters are here, Jagarini Devi and Kanka Devi, my god brother Krishnamurti, and of course Nartaki Mataji. They are blessing all of us. And Jagarini Mataji was telling me this morning how pleasing it is the heart when there's awareness of every detail of our devotional service, to make it pleasing to Krishna, to Prabhupada, to the He has limitless grass growing, and every single blade of grass is as fragrant as lotus flowers from the spiritual world. Every blade of grass is soft and tender, and not only does it taste like nectar, it tastes better than nectar, but it also feels like nectar, and it smells like nectar, and it looks like nectar. And it's so nutritious that when the cows eat that grass, they cannot get sick. And they feel extremely intoxicated with spiritual happiness. And when they eat that grass, it produces the most incredibly delicious transcendental milk. And the trees growing on Govardhan Hill at the time of Krishna, they were kalpa-vriksha trees. They fulfill any desire. Srila Prabhupada explains the nature of kalpa-vriksha tree. If you want a mango and it's not the mango season, you can't get it from the tree. But on Govardhan, if you're under any one of those trees, any season, you can ask you just desire for Krishna's pleasure. If it's a mango tree, if you desire a pomegranate, or a chiku, or a papaya, immediately it manifests. Filled with kalpa-vriksha trees. And so many waterfalls and lakes. And even the nectar of the demigods cannot compare in the experience of the fragrance and the taste and the effects of happiness that drinking that water may be. It's very sweet. And the rocks of Govardhan, Krishna, Balaram, or their gopas, or the cows, or the calves, or the bulls, or Sri Radha and the gopis, when any one of them walks upon the rocks of Govardhan Hill, the rock becomes very soft and comfortable for their bare feet. And in the winter, they're warm. And in the summer, they're very cool. The caves of Govardhan, they have mirrors made out of precious jewels and seats made out of precious jewels. Krishna and Balaram and the cowherd boys go in there and have so many beautiful pastimes, joking and resting. And Shri Radha Govinda and the gopis and the manjaris, most confidential, secret places where they go to exchange prem. So this gopi is telling in Srimad Bhagavatam that Giriraj is the best devotee because he gives the most pleasure to Krishna and Balaram by giving the most pleasure to the calves, to the cows, and to all the devotees, the Brijvasis. One day, as recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam and spoken by Shukadev Goswami, Krishna had just delivered his limitless mercy to the yajna patnis, to the wives of the ritualistic Brahmins. The husbands were performing very precise Vedic rituals in order to appease and give pleasure to the demigods. They were expert at mantra and yantra and tantra and mudra and puja. They were really expert. They had so many followers. They were performing their rituals. And when Krishna sent his friends, please go and ask them for some food. Tell them that Krishna and Balaram are very hungry. And of course the friends were really hungry. The friends only said that they were hungry because they knew that Krishna was hungry. This is the psychology of Vrindavan. When you ask for something, it's for the purpose it's for the pleasure of the purpose of the person you're asking it from. Does that make sense? Materially, it doesn't make sense, so don't try to pretend that you understand it. We ask for something because we want it. But in Vrindavan, all the devotees only want Krishna to be happy. And they want all the devotees to be happy. Why? Because that makes Krishna happy. They love each other, because if they have any animosity to each other, Krishna's not happy, and then there's no purpose. So they know how much Krishna loves them. So when they think Krishna's hungry, if they say, Krishna, we know you're hungry, he'll say, no, I'm not hungry. But if they say, we are really hungry, then Krishna will be very happy to arrange, and then they could give him food in the name of their being hungry. The gopis, when Krishna plays his flute at Bamsivat, they try to dress themselves very nicely. But they're not dressing themselves nicely for any other reason except making Krishna happy. Chintamani Dham. They try to be beautiful not for any other reason than to make Krishna happy. And Krishna is beautiful just to make his devotees happy. And therefore both the gopis and Krishna's beauty are ever increasing, forever. How could there be limitless, complete, perfect happiness that's beauty that's ever increasing forever? It's achintya, it's inconceivable. So Krishna said, go to these Brahmins, get food. But the Brahmins were so absorbed in their rituals that they ignored the little gopas. So Krishna came back. The gopas came back and said, we failed. And Krishna said, no, that's the way beggars are. Sometimes they give, sometimes they don't. Can't be attached. Go to their wives. They are simple ladies. As soon as they went to their wives, the best foods they could, they were left. And the husbands were saying, what are you doing? We need you for our yajna. And they didn't even turn in the direction. They never saw Krishna before. But when they would buy spices and fruits and vegetables at the markets, sometimes the gopis would be there selling and they'd all be talking among each other, the gopis. And they were only talking about Krishna with so much love, with so much attachment. They'd talk about Krishna's beauty, Krishna's qualities. When they would speak with so much affection of Krishna's complexion like a monsoon rain cloud, his beautiful threefold bending form, his dhoti, which was the color of lightning, the Vajayanti mala that would go and extend below his knees of forest flowers, the peacock feather that would adorn his beautiful black hair that was that was circling his moon-like face with lotus-like eyes, and nose was soft like a sesame flower, and his lips like the freshly ripened bimba fruit, his neck like a conch shell. He would speak of his enchanting beauty. When the Brahmins' wives would hear it, they totally fell in love with Krishna. And Krishna's qualities, how he reciprocates the love with his devotees. And they would tell Krishna's pastimes to each other. They weren't even speaking to the wives of the Brahmins. They were speaking among themselves because they couldn't stop talking about Krishna. They would say, we can't stop thinking of Krishna. We can't stop talking about Krishna. Even if we try, it's impossible. Krishna's captured our hearts. He's captured our minds. He's captured our lives. They're just talking among each other like this. Village talk. It's Brajavasi Gramya Katha. And these ladies would come to get things for their families, and they'd hear. And just by hearing, they completely sarvadharmaparijyasya. They surrender their hearts, their lives, body, mind, souls to Krishna. They never saw him. They were yearning in separation. Just by hearing and chanting, they fell in love. And their whole life was, everything they did was only for the pleasure of Krishna. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hridayasharjanatishthati. Krishna's in everyone's heart, and he was reciprocating with them. So he told the boys, go to those Brahmins, Brahmanis, Yagyapatnis, and tell them we're hungry. Actually, Krishna told them, don't tell them I'm hungry. Just tell them we're here. Because if you tell them I'm hungry, they're going to feel too much distress, and I don't want them to feel distress. So don't say I'm hungry, just say I'm here. But the cowherd boys went and told they're hungry. It's emergency. So they took the best of everything they had in baskets and went to the forest. Even though their fathers and their husbands and their children and their domestic responsibilities, they left it all behind just to bring that food to Krishna. And they came to a little clearing near the Yamuna River in the forest. And there Krishna, he had beautiful flowers in his ear, over his ear. And when they saw the beauty of Krishna, who was standing with one of his arms on the shoulder of a cowherd boyfriend, they took that form of Krishna through their eyes into the very, very core of their hearts and their souls, and there Krishna embraced them, and they reciprocated. But even though they were in such ecstasy, they weren't there to be in ecstasy, they were there to serve. They put all their offerings at Krishna's feet. And Krishna told them that now you have come and you have fulfilled your purpose, and I'm very pleased with you, I'm very happy with you. Now please go home because your families need you. They're in the middle of these very important sacrifices. They said, we don't want to go home. We want to stay with you. We'll do anything to be with you. If you don't want us directly, then this just the servant of the servant of the servant. We'll just pick up the leaves that fall from your feet and keep your forest so nice. Just before you come, we'll make everything so nice for you. But Krishna told them, it's not by physical proximity with me that you develop love for me. It's by pleasing me. And I am pleased when you absorb yourselves to become completely attached to me through hearing about me, speaking about me, and chanting my holy names.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So for Krishna's pleasure, they went home. Krishna promised them that your husbands will become purified just because you've become so purified. And when they came home, the husbands saw how effulgent with ecstatic love of God their wives were. They were so happy. The husbands condemned themselves, the Brahmins, to hell with our being great pundits. We know all scriptures, we can chant all mantras, we can perform all the different ceremonial rituals. Meticulously, expertly, we can do everything. Every incantation, we can pronounce it with preciseness. According to astrology, according to the technical scriptural injunctions, every time we do a ritual, it's in the perfect time, in the perfect muhurta, with the perfect execution. And we have so many people who are learning from us. But what is the use of all of it? We have no love for Krishna. Krishna asked us, we're doing the whole purpose of all these yagyas. Yat karoshi yadashnashi yadjohoshi dadasyat yat tapasyasi konti tat kurushvamadarpana. The purpose of everything we do is to please Krishna, to please God. And we had a chance to serve him and we didn't. But these ladies, they sacrificed everything only for Krishna's pleasure. So this beautiful pastime took place. And soon after, Krishna and Balaram, the Gopas, they see that Nanda Maharaj is arranging a ritualistic sacrifice with all these Brahmins. And it's really an elaborate sacrifice. Krishna, he knows everything. But playing the role of a little cowherd boy, like a human in Vrindavan, he would assume the mood of not knowing. He saw these elaborate arrangements being made, and little Gopal approached Nanda Maharaj. At that time, he's 7 years old. He said, "My dear father, I see so much efforts being made for this sacrifice. Please tell me, what is it for? What is the goal of this sacrifice? Why are you performing this sacrifice? Who is the sacrifice for? And how are you going to actually execute it?" He said, even though I'm a little boy and you may think that this is something very high and I may not understand, because I'm your family, you should not keep any secrets from me. Tell me everything. Nanda Maharaj explained that we are Vaishyas. We make our livelihood through protecting the cows and through agriculture. And for that purpose, we depend on rain. And the demigod Indra supplies the rains. For many generations, it is our tradition. At this time of the year, after the monsoons are complete, we perform this puja for Indra. Because after all, we should not neglect our duties like this due to greed or enmity or envy or laziness. It's something that traditionally we always do. We depend on the rain, and Indra supplies the rain. Now Krishna, he understood that his beloved devotee, Indra, was becoming too arrogant. It's very difficult not to get arrogant when you're in a position like Indra. You know, sometimes we read about certain activities of Indra and we think, oh, Indra's doing this again. But imagine yourself being in the role of Indra, the king of the demigods, living in Swargaloka, the most magnificent palace, something that cannot even be imagined in this earthly world. All the demigods are honoring him and obeying him. Everyone on earth is depending on him to give rain. He has the most beautiful ladies. He has the most elegant clothes and jewels. He eats the most delicious foods. And he has unbelievable power and prestige. But as a demigod, he's appointed by Krishna to do it in Krishna's service. But still, he got dharmasya hyapavargyasya nartatayo pakalpate. That Srimad Bhagavatam tells that when we perform our devotional service, we should not try to enjoy the results of our service. We should know to who they belong. So Krishna knew that this false pride was spoiling the devotion, and Krishna konteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. He promises he'll protect his devotee. But beware how Krishna will protect you. He has this way of protecting. Sometimes he protects by giving whatever we require, and sometimes he protects by taking it all away. But Krishna's always suhridam sarvabhutanam. He's always our best well-wishing friend for everyone. So Krishna spoke in such a way that he knew Indra was listening. He said, forget Indra. We don't need Indra. 7-year-old little boy. He said, actually, whatever we are receiving is all the results of karma. The nature of creation is for every action there's an equal corresponding reaction. If we do pious deeds, we will get good results. If we do impious deeds, we will have to suffer. So the demigods, they're not in control. Karma is in control. The demigods, like Indra, they simply are carrying out, they're delivering what we deserve according to our karma. So if we're doing good, Indra has to give us rains. And if we're not, he won't give us rains. Well, why should we worship Indra? The ocean doesn't need water. And the ocean's not doing Indra puja. And it's raining on the ocean. And the rocks don't need water, and they're not doing puja, and it's raining on the rocks. It's raining wherever, according to karma, it's meant to rain. According to our previous desires and the activities and words we speak, we create a karma which influences us to a swabhava. Swabhava means our conditioned nature. It's very strong. Due to samskaras, due to previous activities and words and impressions and experiences, we develop a very, very deep nature. And we have ingrained habits. That's very powerful. It's caused by karma. And the three modes of nature, Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, Tamaguna, are very, very powerful. And what is rain? Clouds are formed by the mode of passion. And that causes rain. So it's the three modes of material nature that's causing it to rain. And it's our conditioned nature that causes us to act and create karma. That's what's making it rain. And whether it's Indra or a supreme God, whatever it is, they're just delivering according to the results that we earn. So we don't have to worship Indra. We should just perform our prescribed duties. And what is the duties? A Brahman, his primary duty is to study Vedic literatures and teach. To live very simple. A Kshatriya is meant to, his prime duty is to protect all humanity, all living beings, and the earth. A Vaishya, farming, banking, commerce, trade, and cow protection. And Shudra is meant to assist and serve those of the higher orders. This is the Varnashram system. So we're Vaishyas, and particularly we are here in this beautiful forest of Vrindavan, and we're protecting cows. And who's giving the most nourishment to the cows? It's not Indra, it's Govardhan. Govardhan is providing such nice grass and so much nice water and so many nice fruits. So we should worship Govardhan Hill. Nanda Maharaj said, Krishna, whatever you say we will do, but after we worship Indra, then we'll worship Govardhan for your pleasure. And Krishna said, no, whatever you have arranged for Indra, offer it to Govardhan. And then he gave instructions. We should have our Brahmins do yagyas for the pleasure of Govardhan, not Indra. And then we should make all of the milk products we have in the whole Braj Bhumi and all of our grains, and we should make mountains of bhoga, anakut. Wonderful offering, fit for a giant mountain. And we should worship the cows and the Brahmins. And afterward we should do parikrama, circumambulate Govardhan Hill, and we should give in charity for everyone, till every living being is completely satisfied in Braj Bhumi. It's not that Nanda Maharaj, Upananda, Sunanda, Abhinanda, Nandan, and his brothers, the leaders of the cowherd community, it's not that they were philosophically convinced by Krishna. They just wanted Krishna to be happy. Nothing else mattered. Whatever pleased Krishna was the ultimate and only life, soul, and goal of the whole Brijavasi community. So this is what pleased Krishna. So they made elaborate arrangements. The Brahmins are doing their yagyas for Govardhan, chanting their mantras, and they made so many mountains and mountains and mountains of food. Kavi Karnapur said there was massive, gigantic mountains of rice with so much ghee on it, it was glistening in the sunlight. And there were literally lakes of paramana, or kheer, sweet rice. Could everyone hear? This is very strange. Is this some special effects? Hare Krishna. Can you hear? And there were lakes of dal. and lakes of liquid subjis, and mountains of dry subjis, and mountains of cakes. It was incredible. Literally miles and miles of mountains of boga. And all the Brijabasis dressed in their very best dress. And because Krishna told them to worship the cows and the bulls. Nanda Maharaj had 900,000 cows. And they gold-plated their horns and put beautiful silken garments over their backs with the most precious jewels. The Brijabasis, just by trading milk and yogurt and ghee, they had everything they wanted and more. When everything was prepared, they were dancing and they were singing. Krishna himself personally manifested himself on top of Govardhan Hill in an enormous, gigantic form. It was Krishna. The Brijabasis were looking up. And little Gopal Krishna, he was still standing there, looking up at his expanded form as Govardhan. And Giriraj, there were actually two Girirajas. There was the mountain and the personal form on top of the mountain. It was standing there. It was huge. And little Krishna with all the Brijabasis were saying, just look at how Govardhan, he's so pleased with our offerings of so much food, and he's so pleased with this puja that we're performing. He's manifested this form for us. And see how gigantic his mouth is, but yet he's so beautiful. His eyes are like lotus flowers. And see, Govardhan, the grasses on the mountain are like the hairs on his body standing up erect in ecstasy. And the trees are like his arms. But now look, this Govardhan, the second Govardhan, the person Govardhan, he has gigantic arms. And now with his arms, he's reaching out to accept our offerings. And right in front of everybody's eyes, this personified form of Govardhan on top of the hill of Govardhan said, I am Govardhan. He revealed that Govardhan is a person. He ate all the mountains. He drank all the lakes right in front of everyone's eyes. And then called out in a voice that was like thunder. You sound so tired. Try again, please. Hey, you're gradually waking up. Once more, please. Which is Sanskrit for give me more. But they didn't have anything else. He ate all the food in the whole Braj Bhumi. So they turned to Krishna, little Krishna, said what to do. And by Krishna's indication, they offered him a tulsi leaf. And he said Govardhan said, now I am satisfied. Through this beautiful lila, Krishna wanted to show the world that he was personally Govardhan Hill. And every stone of Govardhan Hill is Krishna himself, direct and personal. Suddenly, after he ate everything and there was nothing left, everything mystically personified again, all the bhoga. But now it was Govardhan's Mahaprasad. And according to Krishna's direction, they fed the Brahmins, they fed everyone. They sumptuously fed the dogs and the cats and the deers and the lions, everybody. They were just feeding everything and everyone. So everyone was totally satisfied. Even soon, you're going to get fed. With some separation. Then after everyone was fully satisfied, they were dancing, they were singing, they were playing musical instruments. It was so beautiful. They had performed so many pujas in their lives, but nothing the Brijabasis ever did compared to this Govardhan puja. The most blissful event in all of their lives. It was so beautiful. And then on Krishna's instruction, they circumambulated, parikrama of Sri Giriraj. Dancing, singing, crying in ecstasy, remembering Krishna. Everything for the pleasure of Krishna. And after the parikrama, it was such a blissful day for the Brijabasis. They all went to their homes, simply discussing Govardhan Leela. There was one person who was not happy. Paraduka Duki. A Vaishnava is supposed to be other people's happiness is your happiness. Other people's distress is my distress. But sometimes even devotees get caught up with prestige, with desire for control, with desire to enjoy. And then we become covered over by Maya. So Indra was in misery. He wasn't thinking, all the Brijabasis are so happy, and Krishna's happy, and Balaram's happy, and Srimati Radharani's happy, the cows are dancing. He was just thinking, I and mine. Janasya moho yamaham mameti. His whole life was circling around me. You see, the nature of psychology is when you get things, you expect to get them again. If you never get anything, you're not really so disturbed if you don't get it again. Yes? But if you're used to getting something, and then you don't get it, you're attached. That attachment, especially things that touch your ego. So Indra could not tolerate. Every year they're giving me this puja. And this year, they gave it to a mountain. Everything that's mine and meant for me, they gave to a mountain. Because of this talkative little child, Krishna. The world is a mirror of our own mind. If we're envious, we think everybody's envious. If we're lusty, we think everybody must be motivated by lust. If we're greedy, we think we see ourselves in other people. If we're really good, we see good in others, even if it's somewhere deep down inside. We see it because we're good. If we realize I'm an eternal soul, we see the eternal soul in others. If we see Krishna in ourselves, we see Krishna in others. So because Indra was so attached to his opulence, he said to the deity, he called the Samvartika clouds. They're not just regular little clouds like come for the monsoons here in Mumbai. These are the clouds of devastation. They're specialized. It's like military has like a special unit of their best fighters. Most highly trained. The Samvartika clouds are especially and exclusively called on at the time of devastation, the pralaya, where they do storms and they make the entire earth one giant ocean. Indra called them and said, because Nanda Maharaj and these cowherd men, because they are prosperous, they have so many cows and such good agriculture, because of me they're getting it. But because they have all this opulence, they have become proud, arrogant. They think they're in control. They neglected worshiping me by listening to this little boy, Krishna, destroy Vrindavan. All the rains that you just devastate the earth, aim it all toward Braj Bhumi. The clouds obeyed. And suddenly, in Vrindavan, it was getting darker and darker, and the Brajavasis were looking and they were seeing these enormous clouds. These clouds were like really awesome. Thunder. And lightning. Something like that. But they weren't laughing. I try to be awesome when you laugh. So there was lightning streaking in all directions, and there was thunder rumbling and crashing. And suddenly the rain started to pour. It didn't come down in drops. It came down. Kavi Karnapur gives the analogy, or description. If there's a huge river that's being held back by a dam, but that river is flooding and flooding and flooding and flooding. There's immense pressure on the dam, and then the dam breaks, and the river goes. The type of stream of that river is what was falling from the sky. Was unbearable. It became freezing cold. And then much of the water was becoming hail, ice. Giant balls of ice were coming down in high speed. And the water was filling up all directions. They couldn't see the low parts of Braj Bhumi from the high parts. It was all being flooded. And the cows, they were trembling due to the cold. But all they could think about was their little calves. And the mother cows would cover the body. They would stand over the calves. So their own body was like an umbrella to protect their children. And their children's head, their bodies would be under their cow's body. Cow, and the flesh that comes down from under their neck, they would use as an umbrella to cover their little children's heads with. And as they were trying to protect their calves, trembling, they were crying, suffering. with their beautiful eyes gazing upon Krishna. Please save us. And the bulls and the Brijbasis. The Brijbasis all came to Krishna. Because even though they only thought him to be their friend, their child, their lover, when there was an emergency, they had no other shelter but him. Krishna, Krishna, Mahabhaga. Krishna, please help us. The Brijbasis said, look at your cows. They're really suffering. They're so cold and the rain is tormenting them and they're crying. And even we're suffering. Please save us. Krishna smiled. And he was thinking, this is Indra. Jayato Vishayam Pungsam. The Bhagavad Gita explains when we have attachment to sense objects, it becomes kama, lust. And when that's unfulfilled, krodha, anger. And from anger we become bewildered. And we lose our intelligence. And we do things we regret. That's what happened with Indra. So by the Yogamaya potency of Sri Krishna, there was a pathway where there was no rain at all. And he went from where he was standing to Govardhan Hill. And there, Lord Sri Krishna, out of love for his devotees, to protect and give pleasure to them, effortlessly, like a child lifts a mushroom, or like a giant elephant lifts a lotus flower. Krishna, with one hand, his left hand, he lifted Govardhan Hill. You can do better than that. It's for Govardhan. He lifted Govardhan Hill and balanced it on the tip of the little finger of his left hand. He was so peaceful. He was smiling. In very sweet words, he told the Brijbasis, just see, because you have satisfied Giriraj through your puja, now he's protecting you. He's taken the form of an umbrella to give you complete shelter from the rains of Indra. And actually, I'm just an instrument. It's Govardhan who is doing this. He said, please, everyone come and bring your animals and bring your families and bring your valuables and let us live beneath Govardhan Hill. All the cows and the calves and the Brijbasis, everyone, they came under Govardhan Hill. Meanwhile, on the top of the hill, because Giriraj was being touched by Krishna's finger, he was feeling so much happiness. Ananda. He was feeling so much happiness that he was transcendental to all what Indra was doing on top of the hill. There was endless, massive thunderbolts crashing against him. And Govardhan was happy. Torrents of rain. Govardhan's happy. And because Govardhan was so happy, because he was touched by Krishna's finger, anyone on top of the hill touched by him was happy. The deers were on top of the hill, just roaming the top of the hill, and all the rains and and everything. And they were smiling and happy. And Indra could not disturb anybody. The rabbits were jumping around. It was a festival for them. On top of the hill. And the lions, they looked up toward Indra. Just, who needs you, Indra? They would just look up and roar. defiance for Indra. And just as above the hill, there was lightning, there was rainbows, there was showers of rain, and there was massive dark clouds. The same thing was happening in a very beautiful way under the hill. The gopis' glances toward Krishna were like lightning, and his cloth was like lightning. And Krishna's complexion was like the dark monsoon clouds. And his peacock feather was like a rainbow. And his love for his devotees was like an endless shower of nectar raining upon all the Brijbasis. For 7 days and 7 nights they spent under that hill. And Krishna reciprocated with each devotee. They were all in a big circle around Krishna. He was Giridhari, such a beautiful form. Threefold bending form, holding up Govardhan Hill. And every person, every elder gopa, younger gopa, gopi, all the animals, everyone, they were experiencing that Krishna's looking at me. He's gazing upon me. And literally, the most intimate and complete loving exchanges for 7 days were just in their glances, in their gestures. The cowherd boys were joking with Krishna, and Krishna was joking with them. Sakyaras. The Dasyaras, the servants like Raktak and Patrak, they were getting all kinds of things and giving to Krishna and fanning him. And Krishna was perfectly reciprocating. They were totally satisfied. And the gopis, Sri Radha, the Sakis, the gopis, the manjaris, simply by gazing upon Krishna, and Krishna gazing upon them, simply by the smiles that they shared, the deepest experience of loving exchange was taking place in their hearts. Madhurya Ras. And the elder gopis and gopas, they were all worried about Krishna. That's their Vatsalya Ras. So everyone was reciprocating, and Krishna was reciprocating fully, limitlessly. For 7 days and 7 nights continuously. Never such an experience. Generally, Krishna was out with the Sakas and the Gopas during the day herding the cows or calves. And the Gopis and the elder Gopas and Gopis would feel separation from him, and at night his cowherd boyfriends would miss him. Krishna was with the cows during the day, and then they would feel separation all night. But by Indra's grace, 7 days, 7 nights continuously, every devotee of every rasa, of every relationship was fully reciprocating with Krishna. It was a shower of love. It was just beautiful. Kavi Karnapur explains, to please the devotees, while holding Govardhan with his left hand, Krishna took his flute from his belt with his right hand to play it. He was playing his beautiful song of his flute. The love of his heart was manifesting through his breath, through the holes of the flute. That song was Krishna's ecstatic, limitless love. And every devotee would hear it in a very personal way, in a way that Krishna would reciprocate with their love. parrots were dancing. Parrots were singing. It was a festival. And everyone was seeing Krishna looking at me. Madhu Mangal, one of the Gopas, said to Krishna that please don't play your flute, because when you play your flute, it awakens such ecstasy in your devotees. And Govardhan's your devotee. If he falls in ecstasy, he's going to start trembling and he might fall off your finger. And then we'll all be destroyed. And one of the other Gopas said, actually, we have seen what happens when Krishna plays flute. Solid things like rocks become liquid, and liquid things like lakes and rivers become solid in ecstasy. So if Govardhan falls into his ecstasy, he's going to become liquid. And then instead of protecting us, he's going to be a worse form of devastation than the rain. But then that same Gopa said, but that won't happen, because Govardhan is very sober. He will protect us. As Krishna played his beautiful flute. And Yashoda Mai was making nice cakes and giving them to Subal to put in Krishna's mouth. She begged Krishna, please stop playing your flute just to eat some food. You look so pale and you look so hungry. And when Sri Radha would cast a special glance upon Krishna, Krishna would tremble uncontrollably, and the hill started to move. And the elderly Gopas, they were thinking Krishna's getting too tired, so they put their sticks under the hill. Madhu Mangal chastised. He said, don't you understand? It's because Radharani glanced at him. Krishna doesn't need your help. My friend Krishna is the younger brother of Balaram. He doesn't need your help. Krishna said to Madhu Mangal, they're doing this seva out of their love for me. Why are you disturbing them? Let them do. Madhu Mangal said, they're just scratching the bottom of Govardhan Hill. So they were all really, with all their might, they were holding up the hill, and Krishna was like that. And sometimes Krishna would just tilt it a little, and their sticks would break and they'd fall to the ground, and then they'd get and pick it up and do it again. That was their seva. The gopis were thinking, Madhu Mangal was saying, it's because of my Brahman Tejas. I'm blessing him, that's why he's given the strength. And the gopis were thinking Krishna's getting all the strength to lift it Govardhan Hill because he's being infused by the Ladini Shakti of Sri Radharani's glances. In this way, everyone under Govardhan Hill was enjoying beautiful rasas with Krishna in their own unique, special, personal ways for 7 days and 7 nights. What a festival it was. And Krishna arranged his Sudarshan Chakra to be spinning around Govardhan Hill so no water would fall to the ground. As soon as it came near the ground, it was dried up. So nothing came under the hill. And it is described in the Vrindavan Ananda Champu, that Ananda Vrindavan Champu, that it wasn't like after Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill, it was just a big hole of dirt. By Krishna's incredible Leela Shakti, under Govardhan Hill it was paradise. There was flowers and gardens and birds singing and beautiful lakes and wonderful crops growing, but nobody cared anything about eating. For 7 days, 7 nights, everyone was fully satisfied and nourished just by being glanced upon by Krishna and seeing his form of Giridhari. Everyone was so happy, except Indra. It was really humiliating. He's the king of heaven. He sent hurricanes, tornadoes, winds of devastation, rains of devastation, lightning like the world has never seen. And by Krishna's grace, Indra could not separate a single leaf from any of the tens and millions of trees on Govardhan Hill. He could not separate a single blade of grass from Govardhan Hill. He could not move, even slightly, a single grain of dust. How is that possible? Achintya Shakti. When Krishna wants to humble his devotee, it's very thorough. The Samvartaka clouds pouring, rain, and nothing's happening. And the winds, Indra's on his Airavata, his elephant with 4 trunks, he's ordering the winds to blow Govardhan off Krishna's finger. They couldn't do it. Finally, all the clouds came to Indra crying, totally defeated and exhausted, and they said, "We give up." And then Indra became even more angry and sent more storms. And ultimately he was exhausted. And when he was totally defeated and his ego was thoroughly smashed, then he understood Krishna's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What kind of mistake have I made? So he stopped the storm. The sun came out. It was a beautiful day. And Krishna was still smiling, and he told all the Brijvasis, "Now the sun has come, you can all go back to your homes. Just see how Giriraj has been so pleased by your worship." They all went back to their homes. At that time, Krishna and the cowherd boys wandered into the pastures together. And some of the cowherd men, leading cowherd men, went to Nanda Maharaj because they were really confused. They said, "How is it that Krishna's only a little 7-year-old boy and he lifted Govardhan Hill? We saw this. Is Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Is Krishna some demigod? Who is this Krishna? And why? Why such a great personality has come to live with us? We're just simple, ordinary people who herd cows. Why would such a great person as Gopal want to live with us? And how is it that he's doing all these things when he was just a little baby, before he even opened his eyes? He was only a couple days old. The monstrous Rakshashi, Ketari, Putana came to kill him. She had killed thousands of babies. With the poison of her milk, she put in Krishna's mouth, and Krishna drank her milk, and then he drank the very life out of her. She expanded to, 8 miles? Or is it 12? 12 miles. Krishna's a little baby. He's on this 12-mile person, and he's sucking. She falls to the ground dead. And then when he was only 3 months old, he was under that with one toe of his foot, he just touched it, and the whole cart fell to the ground. The demon, Sakatashura, in the form of a ghost, came to kill him. And just with the top of one toe, he killed that demon. And when Gopal was only 1 year old, Trinavarta, demon, who came as a massive whirlwind, he picked up little Gopal after creating so much dust nobody could see anything. And he took Gopal high and higher into the sky. And Krishna just put his little tiny soft arm around the neck of Trinavarta and squeezed and suffocated Trinavarta. His eyes popped out and fell to the ground and crashed his limbs. He was dead. And when he was just a little boy, he was stealing butter from everyone's house and yogurt and ghee. And Yashoda Maya, she tied him up with a rope. And then your Gopal, he crawled, pulling the grinding mortar he was tied to, between the Yamalarjuna, the enormous trees in your courtyard. And just by pulling, the trees came crashing down to the ground. Who is your son? How could he do these things? And there was a little boy herding the calves in Kadiravan. Do you remember? Bakasura. He came like the size of a mountain. He was a crane. And he swallowed Krishna with his beaks, and Krishna went into his throat. Krishna heated himself up like Brahman, the effulgence of Brahman around his body. And the heat was too much, and Bakasura vomited Krishna out of his beak. Then he tried to stab. A crane as big as a mountain, with a razor-sharp, pointed beak, was stabbing at little Gopal. And he was just a few years old. He was dancing around, and all his friends were seeing this. They were really afraid for Krishna. And Krishna took the two parts of his beak and pulled them apart. He bifurcated Bakasura. And then later on, Vatsa, an asura, took the form of a little calf to kill Krishna, Balaram, and the Gopas. And Krishna took that calf and he whirled him around and threw him on the top of a kapita tree so that the kapita fruits would fall down. And then Krishna was with Balaram in the Gopas in Talavan. And the incredible Dhenukasura attacked him. And Krishna and Balaram just whirled them all around and threw them into the trees. And then Krishna empowered Balaram to kill Pralambasura. And then Kaliya, he poisoned the lake near the Yamuna. 800 hoods. He was enormous. He had Krishna in his coils for a long time. And then Krishna danced upon his heads. And Kaliya surrendered to him. And today, there's Govardhan Hill, an enormous mountain. And little Gopal, 7 years old, he held it with one finger for 7 days and 7 nights. Please tell us, Nanda Maharaj, we are confused. How does he do this? Who is he? Nanda Maharaj replied that years ago, in the name-giving ceremony, in the Goshala, the cowshed, we secretly invited Gargamuni. At that time when Gargamuni gave names to Krishna and Balaram, he told us that your son, he appears in every age in a different color. He has appeared in a white color, a red color, and a yellow color, and now he's appearing in a beautiful, dark complexion, like tamal tree, like a monsoon cloud, Ganasham. And your son, he appears again and again in this world with many names and many forms to deliver the pious, to annihilate the miscreants, and to reestablish the true principles of Dharma. He has so many qualities that will attract the hearts of all the Brajavasis. He will give all auspiciousness, protection, and happiness to all the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Your son was previously born of Vasudev. His name will be Vasudev. And then he said, your son is as good as Lord Narayan and has the same Shaktis as Lord Narayan. And his pastimes will enchant your hearts. When Nanda Maharaj shared this, still they were thinking Krishna's our friend. They were thinking, he may be as good as Narayan, but still he's Krishna. He kills all these demons, he lifts these mountains, but when he's hungry, he cries. The absolute truth, but he tells lies. Krishna is filled with divine contradictions just to awaken prema in the hearts of devotees. He's the husband of the goddess of fortune, but he steals butter. He goes out and steals. Hare. He's the proprietor of everything that exists. He's feared by fear personified. And yet when Yashoda lifts her little stick, he cries and trembles and says, please don't punish me. I admit that I have stolen butter, please. When he hears thunder, he'll run to his mother, trembling in fear, until she embraces him. So when they heard the words of Gargamuni, they were happy. They all went back to their homes. Meanwhile, Indra, he was extremely humiliated, embarrassed. He realized he made an offense that cannot be even estimated. To the supreme absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, who has appeared as a little boy in Vrindavan, Indra tried to destroy everything and everyone in Vrindavan because of his false pride. What am I going to do? He went to his guru, Brihaspati. Brihaspati told him, Indra, you are a fool. Why did you do that? He said, go to Brahma, the original guru of the whole universe. Indra went to Brahma. Brahma said, you are a fool, Indra. He was getting smashed on every side. He said, the only way you can get forgiveness from Krishna, you cannot approach him directly if you've made such offenses. It's only through one who loves him. If that person prays on your behalf, Krishna will accept you. Go to Surabhi. In the spiritual world, it is called Goloka, the highest, most intimate planet of love. But in this material world, there's also a Goloka. And Surabhi, she was born from the churning of the ocean of milk. When the demigods and the asuras were churning, the daityas. She's a mother cow. The King of Heaven approached a mother cow and submitted himself before her, completely humbling. Meanwhile, Krishna knew what was happening. And I'm going to end here. Krishna didn't want to create any more embarrassment for Indra. As soon as he actually internally surrendered and approached a devotee with a very, very repentant and sincere heart, then Krishna did not want to exasperate it anymore. So Krishna went all alone to a secluded place so that Indra could surrender privately. Surabhi approached Krishna, Giridhari. She said, Indra wants to surrender to you. Please accept him. And on her plea, Indra could approach Krishna, and he surrendered his heart, offered beautiful prayers. In his prayers, he proclaimed Krishna to be the cause of all causes, the source of everything that exists, the proprietor of everything, the all-powerful, and the beautiful Lord of Vrindavan. And due to his arrogance, he forgot his relationship with Krishna. He gave up his realization that I'm eternally the servant of your servants. And he was thinking, I am the enjoyer, I am the controller, I am the proprietor. But by your mercy, you have cured me of that disease. He surrendered. And Krishna accepted him, told him not to do that anymore. And Krishna reinstated him in his service after he saw that he was sincere to rectify himself. Krishna reinstated him in his service. Surabhi said, I want to honor you. All the cows are like my children, and you have protected them, and you've given them so much happiness. She performed an abhishek for Krishna with her milk. Indra's elephant Airavata brought the water from the Mandakini Ganga in the spiritual world, the Akash Ganga, and bathed Krishna. And the demigods, Brahma, Shiva, Varuna, Vayu, Agni, they all came to perform abhishekams and offer prayers to Krishna. And the great sages like Vasishta, Vishwamitra, they came, many with their wives, to offer abhishek and prayers and worship to Krishna. And it was there that Krishna was given the name Govinda. The place of the Abhishekam was Govinda Kund. The place where Krishna forgave Indra by the mercy of Surabhi is called Surabhi Kund. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Vrindavan, he came to Govardhan Hill. Madhavendra Puri, his Param Guru, he discovered Gopal near the Govinda Kund of Govardhan. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approached Govardhan Hill, the first stone that he saw, a big stone, in the mood of Sri Radha, he embraced that stone and wept. He did abhishek of that stone with the tears of his love. He circumambulated parikrama of Govardhan. And he would not put his feet on Govardhan Hill, because in the mood of Sri Radha, he was seeing Govardhan directly as the body of the personality of Sri Krishna. Radhanath Das Goswami, our Prayojana Guru, looks like some pastime is happening. Snake. Very nice. If you get tired, there's nothing like a nice snake to wake you up. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his associates Rupa Goswami had his bhajan kutir at Govardhan. Sanatan Goswami, for years he lived at Chakaleshwar Mahadev at Govardhan Manasi Ganga, and it was there that he left this world. On Guru Purnima, Jiva Goswami, Raghava Pandit, Vishwanath Chakravarti, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita on the banks of Radha Kund and Shama Kund at Govardhan. And Srila Prabhupada, our beloved Srila Prabhupada, he gave us this Govardhan Puja ceremony. And on this very day today, in thousands and thousands of homes, tens and thousands of homes in India and all over the world, in hundreds of temples, there's the most glorious festival of the year. And in his last days, Srila Prabhupada wanted to give us the importance of Govardhan. He asked his devotees to take him on parikrama at a time when he couldn't even sit up from his bed. We have gathered here in this, at the lotus feet of this little Govardhan Hill, just to be together, to be absorbed in hearing this beautiful pastime. And to surrender our hearts, surrender our lives as humble servants of the Lord's devotees. With great eagerness to take shelter of the holy names.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
At this time, believe it or not, we're right on time, exactly to the second, because we were never given a time. The Anakuta is there at the Govinda Kund on the other side of Govardhan, so we'll go on Parikrama Marg and go around and have darshan of the Anakuta of Shri Giriraj. And there'll be an arti for Giriraj there. And all morning there's been Brahmins performing yagyas. In the Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada says that if you don't do this Govardhan Puja nicely, then you can get bit by the snakes at Govardhan. So as far as I could see, we must be doing it nicely. Is there anything else, Rupa Raghunath Prabhu, that you would like to say?